my mum used to say to me, or say to all of us, you never stop learning. Always learn. Enter a room as if somebody in that room knows something you don't know, but you need to know it. So that means you've got to treat people with a certain respect and actually say, you know what, you're valuable to me. You're valuable to our space right now, and I appreciate you being here. I respect you, and that's something that I think can go a long way.
It's a humble student, white belt mindset. How have you managed to keep that mindset when you've increased your positions of power? Has power in the sense of being on the council board, making decisions that do influence our community, has there been a struggle of the effects of power and position with keeping that mindset of I am a learner?
Not really. I mean, that sounds arrogant. I mean, I think it's a struggle. If it's a struggle for you to remain in a position of humility if you don't start from there. If you started from a top-down governance that you put your hand up because you want to be the boss, so good luck, For me, even with Reconcile Life, our company, we've been running it for 6 years and basically paying to run it. It's domestic violence course. It's behavioural change from cultural perspectives, and it's for Indigenous, non-Indigenous, old men or young men, women, children. It doesn't matter who goes and is a part of it. The reason why it's lasted 6 years is because my mentality is to serve people, and that was taught to me by my grandparents, by my parents, by my uncles and aunties, by my village. It's a village mindset. It's not to serve yourself, it's to serve others. That's the village mindset. And I make this correlation back to Christianity because Jesus grew up in a fishing village. He was a village man, and it was the Roman Empire who put him on the cross. Do you know what I mean? So even back then, there was that struggle between the Western world and the village mindset. And I feel like maybe that's just me. I just sense that myself, is that I've grew up with two, I want to say cultures, but two mindsets that doesn't make me weak. It actually makes me informed. And my job is to try to help others see things from another perspective that can help them. You know what I mean? I'm not the gatekeeper. I just feel like I've just been given a piece of bread. I'm just giving it to the next person. So they can give it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I asked that question out of genuine curiosity because, politics and media has become so toxic in our world, and our leaders are probably more narcissistic than ever, and finding good leaders in politics is difficult in today's world. There are a lot of leaders. We don't have to look very far to see that our world is in turmoil because of the people that are leading it. Though one thing that I've noticed about the way that you've approached our community, local governance, Namarca, is your incredible power of vulnerability. You've shared through not only your council corners of, again, saying that you're a learner and that we're learning together, but also you just released a recent interview with your wife, Vicky, and you spoke about the really challenging time of her journey of complex regional pain syndrome, also known as CRPS, which is a rare and severe neurological condition often described as the suicide disease, and how that has impacted dramatically her health, her well-being, your family, and not only, of course, yourself. You've literally had to carry her. Not only that's pretty symbolic of what you've had to do as a family man, but then also coupled with the weight of this responsibility of politics and of community, and still show that power of vulnerability, to sharing that rawness. Why? why do you put yourself out there like that when the environment is, it's dangerous. You know, the political world, putting yourself out there is dangerous. People could really, you know, it's a brave thing to do.
You've got nothing to lose when you've already won. Now, I say that because I feel like, again, this whole thing around faith, seeing myself outside of myself is probably the most important mindset and most important skill that any young person can achieve. Like, they have to learn that from a young age. It puts you leaps and bounds and, you know, ahead of where you could be. So I think going back to that whole thing about faith is understanding, you know, like I said, music. Music is, you know, I play guitar, and when you play an instrument, the sound that comes out is an expression of you, good, bad or ugly. So when you play that thing, you're making yourself vulnerable because you're going, here's my skill level. What does it sound like? Yeah. And people are going to go applaud or throw rotten fruit at you. Like that, I think even that practice of singing, of music, of faith, of family, like those types of things that help shape my mind, or the shell of my mind, I should say. It brings me to a place of understanding that, you know what, I've already, when I said before that you've already won, what I mean by that is I'm grateful for where I am. I'm grateful for the past, the fact that I've been born into the family I was born into. I'm grateful for everything I have. Every day is a bonus. Every day I wake up is a bonus. So I think for me, thankfulness goes a long way. And so when you're thankful and you're grateful, that's just the foundation. If you build off gratitude, like if you're serious about making impact in your community, like start from a foundation of gratitude. Because what that does, it actually shows you that you have more to offer than you realise. And not only that, it also puts you in a position to actually be able to see people on a level playing field. And now all of a sudden when I look at somebody who may be doing it tough or somebody who may be doing it good, like at the end of the day, we're more similar than we are different. So vulnerability, to me, it's like it's not something that I try to do. I think honesty, living my life with honesty and doing the best that I know to do to help somebody, or to actually listen to my conscience, number one. Like my conscience is probably the biggest thing. And anybody can have access to your conscience, right? Conscience is just two words. Con means with, science means knowledge. With knowledge, conscience. So if I'm listening to my conscience, I'm feeding my spirit, right? Because I know what's right from wrong in my internal person. I know what's right from wrong, and I can pretty much use that as a gauge to how I live my life. Now, my vulnerability also comes down to perception too. Like for you, that might seem like me being vulnerable. To me, it's being honest. Yes, I might be vulnerable and there's an opening of myself for attack, but I'm like, truth is always greater than darkness. And if I'm honest, that's what will carry me through. If I'm truthful about who I am and what my intention is, I don't need to be ashamed of that. I don't need to be afraid, in other words, because I think when I hear the word vulnerability, it tends towards, fear. It tends, not saying that you're trying to say that. I just feel like it creates that emotion in someone to say, oh, you're being vulnerable. So, I should be afraid. It's like, no, I should be vulnerable because that means I've got stability.
Completely honest.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people out there, but for me, it's sort of like, actually, that to me, and I saw it in my grandfather, and I saw it in my father. Vulnerability is strength. Like, that's an oxymoron in the Western world.
Yeah.
Because vulnerability is weakness. But in a village, in a culture, like of a warrior from culture, vulnerability is strength. Because it shows that you're a warrior who's able to hold the baby while protecting his family.